You may begin.
Today, the Islandwide Beautification Task Force is called to order. It is June 19th, and the time is 11:02 a.m. As I understand it, I'm going to take the prerogative to kind of move out of order to accommodate a couple of folks. But joining us from the Guam Department of Agriculture, we have Christine Farron and Dr. Mariana Turner from Public Works. We have Vince Ariola from the Department of Parks and Recreation. We have Angel Sablan from the University of Guam Center for Island Sustainability. We have Dr. Austin Shelton from the Guam State Clearinghouse. We have Stephanie Flores along with IBTF staff. We also have Rob Sinogstein from the office from the Division of Homelessness and Poverty Prevention. And from Guam EPA, looks like we have Sabrina Cruz Sablan. So at this time, what we'll do is I'm gonna take I'm gonna go out of order just to because I know that Dr. Turner and Dr. Shelton's both have some business. So I'm gonna go first to Dr. Austin Shelton.
Afide, thank you, Lieutenant Governor. My main update for our Island Beautification Task Force is regarding our Guam Green Growth Conservation Corps. They are currently in motion. This is our Guam Green Growth Initiative to prepare our community for the emerging green economy. And each year, funded by the Guam legislature, we're able to hire 12 individuals, 12 adults full-time to work on a variety of different training topics, including things like forestry with Chief Christine here. They're doing watershed restoration, ocean conservation work, renewable energy training, and they do island beautification work every Friday in partnership with the Mayor's Council of Guam. And so I just wanted to give an update on what they've done so far in the past couple of months or so since they started this season. So they've been to Tamuning, Jigo, Dedido, Mangilau, Chalampago Ordot, Agana Heights, and Asan Maina. And so far they've collected 330 large trash bags from different sites that the mayor's identified were priority areas. Also, 22 bags of aluminum cans, 5 cubic yards of green waste, over 1,000 pounds, plus 5 trailers of heavy metals, 161 tires, and 265 pounds of other unidentified waste. And they've also done 4 painting projects. 3 of them have been for road safety. So making a large impact so far with our 12 members, highly motivated to get this green workforce training and also give back to our island. And tomorrow we have our next cleanup. This happens every Friday. Meeting time is at 8 o'clock, and this week will be in PD, 8 o'clock meeting at the PD Playground Park. And so we're looking forward to that. We also have a couple other projects going on in Guam Green Growth. We've always have our community gardens in Hagatna and Dedido running and in partnership with Guahan Sustainable Culture. And we have an interesting project this summer in partnership with our UOG School of Engineering. So we're trying to get more sophisticated with our precious plastic recycling machines. And so we're developing a new plastic lumber product that can be made in just a couple minutes time, use pounds and pounds of plastic waste and turn it into a plastic lumber that is actually stronger and more durable than something you can find in Home Depot or other commercial retailers. So we are doing the science behind that, and hopefully this will be one of our first commercialized products to come out of the makerspace in due time. So we have that, and we also have a project that collaborating with you, Lieutenant Governor, our National Science Foundation Navigating Home project. We brought back a sustainability expert that went off island to get a lot of robotics and 3D printing and trades training in sustainability. And his focus right now is on using these large sheets of precious plastic recycled plastic number 2 and 5 to turn into things like tables and chairs. And he's already taken some broken desks from our local schools, refurbished them with the precious plastic, and taken the acrylic sheets of plastic from COVID that nobody's using anymore, and putting another layer for a dry erase board on these desks. So hopefully we're going to be able to do enough of those and outfit classrooms in DOE and here at the University of Guam. So we're excited for these activities happening over the summer.
Great, Austin. Before you go, I know that before I take questions, I know that there is a considerable amount of murals that also were conducted in your art core program. Do you have any, maybe can you speak a little bit about that and how many places? Of course, one of the nicest, well, they're all nice, but every time I go to Umatic, I see a very nice big one over there. But if you could just give us some insight on that.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks to the governor's education assistance and youth empowerment grant that we got a couple years ago, we wrapped up a project with our G3 Art Corps to put educational murals out in the community. And this is to help our community envision the sustainable future we've been talking about through Guam Green Growth. And so 17 murals have been completed. And with our most talented artists on island joining this core program. So that one example in Pneumatic is of a hilitai with all different colors, the monitor lizard. A noticeable one is on Rexall Drugs in Tamuning. As you're driving north, you can see the native birds. There's a bunch of them, and we're slowly unveiling them and putting the signage up so that you'll know that that's one of the G3 murals in partnership with the governor's office and the University of Guam. And we're also working with the Guam Visitors Bureau to make a listing of these with the GPS coordinates so that our locals and visitors can go around and take pictures and make sure that they enjoy all 17 of these murals that are aligned with the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
Austin, so you guys do, what was your program cost for this one?
I got to double check the cost of that. I believe it was under $200,000. We had that paid for all of the supplies and the stipends for the artists and the full-time coordinator that walked them through the program, the professional development that they received, and also the promotion of these murals.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, any questions for Dr. Shelton from anybody? If not, I'm going to go ahead. Thank you, Dr. Shelton. I'm going to go ahead and pivot over to, I know that agriculture has different things, but I'm going to pivot to Dr. Turner in particular to talk to us about the stray animals.
Thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor. So just a brief update. Also, I didn't prepare any numbers today. I found out about this meeting about an hour ago, so my apologies if I appear unprepared. But we are working, with our dog population management task force on a couple of different items in order to really have a robust program. As Dr. Sheldon was just talking about, education is such a huge component. So we have an education subcommittee that's working on getting together some literature that we can distribute and tailoring it so that it's more targeted towards locals and making sure it's culturally appropriate. We're getting these resources from mostly mainland U.S. nonprofits, so they're giving us at least a starting point to get that going. Currently, right now, we are having a little bit of shortage of our animal control officers. I'm down to just 2, but we do have 3 vehicles now. So we have the opposite problem that we were having a couple of years ago. And we are working on hiring 3 new animal control officers, some interviews this afternoon. So just a temporary little bit of a setback.
Mariana, is it because they quit?
Yeah, a couple of them moved on to other organizations. Some of them moved off island. So kind of a variety of different reasons. And then, the hiring process takes a while. So we've been working on this, but we're to the point where we're starting the interviews. We're going to get them back. But we did just sign the ICSA agreement with Anderson. And so I actually have a meeting with them next Friday to kind of delve into some more of the details, not only on the education side, but as also to get some volunteer animal control officers going for that side as well. And potentially I'm hoping for some equipment that they can purchase for us to use as well together. Those are kind of the big things going on. We do have a community SNP clinic that we're working on getting together for August of this year, right after all the kids go back to school. I do have a couple of the mayors have reached out with interest in hosting, so we just need to go out and make sure the facility is appropriate for everything that we need for that. And so we will be looking for some volunteers to help us out, get that going, because we cannot do these community clinics without the support of volunteers. Those are the big ones right now that we've been working on. Do you have any questions or?
Yeah, no, actually, I wanted to use this opportunity to kind of talk about some of the numbers. Last month, I think, if we counted, I think we did we kind of did a data look back, and since 2022 up until maybe about last month, there were 14,300 stray animals that had been collected. Of that, unfortunately, 12,269 were euthanized, 1,745 were adopted. And I think that's a very important data point that I wanted to maybe feature, because if you're talking about the effectiveness of your program, there's obviously some big numbers there. I think that people it reminds us that unfortunately we have a very, very high euthanasia rate, but we have a very high stray population. And so that's one side of it. But the other side of it, I think, was also a big, tremendous number that up through last month, you hit 8,000 animals were spayed or neutered. And so I just kind of wanted to, when we're talking about how we're projecting out, stray animals has been an issue for decades. In fact, I was reading some old literature that was even recognizing that stray animals on Guam were even a pre-war thing here. But I wanted to kind of maybe give you an opportunity to shine on some of that data.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that opportunity too. So, those numbers are a really great testament to the fact that we can't just round these all up. And when we round all of these stray animals up, the majority of what's going to happen is euthanasia, because a lot of these animals are not adoptable, whether because of medical conditions or because they're, kind of more feral dogs that aren't going to be able to go into a home. And then with the spay and neuter clinic, it highlights that there is a need and people are wanting these services, right? The fact that we hit 8,000 in such a short time frame. This is actually something that so international groups are actually recognizing the amount of the amount of spays and neuters we've been able to do in a short time. So this is actually pretty big deal. But it's a testament to the fact that this is the way to really get a handle on our dog population problem or issue, is spay and neuter, because we need to get to the source of why there's so many animals on the streets in the first place. And if we're just constantly picking up the dogs, it's kind of like the trash. If we're only picking up the trash, the litter that we see on the streets, and not addressing the reason why they're on the streets in the first place, we're never going to solve the problem. And we're always just going to be constantly, no pun intended, but chasing our tail at picking up these dogs. So we need to incorporate education as well as robust spay and neuter, which does include, we can't just rely on people and their owned animals and getting those spayed and neutered. It does help, but to really get to solve this problem, we do need to implement a trap, neuter, and return program. And this is something that's been established around the world as the way to really get a handle on this issue. We did have Humane World for Animals out here both in February and in March, doing training, doing surveys. We're still working on the final report. from Humane World. I met with them just last week, so that final report should be coming here in the next couple months or so. And in that report, they're going to give us recommendations on how to best move forward, how to best target our spay and neuter program. But the majority of the recommendations that they give when they do these is you got to implement a trap, neuter, and return program, which means what that means is basically we would trap the animals, take them to the SNP clinic, get them spayed or neutered, and then return them to the place where they were. Now, this is for obviously if the animals are sick. We're not going to we're not going to do surgery on sick animals. We'll go ahead and humanely euthanize those to end suffering. And then dominantly aggressive dogs, you can kind of tell right when you see them that, they are not nice. And those are also animals that we will not be returning out to the streets. Of course, it's not going to be perfect, but at least gives us a starting point to get a handle on the numbers. And then whatever animals that we miss from that, those are the ones that the animal control officers can then target specifically, the nuisance dogs that are chasing the kids and things like that. My apologies.
A few months ago, we convened that working group, and part of this also resulted in, and I wanted to give him credit, General Polensky, who's aware that, I think it's experience and exposure to what happened in the Middle Eastern country of Bahrain, similar size as us, island again, and, it was a multi-prong approach. There's some controversy or maybe some misunderstanding, of course, with the whole release or return concept, but I think you were able to kind of show us about what happens when an animal gets taken, another animal will take its place. So I was going to say, Dr. Turner, is probably maybe that time again, we do maybe some public education again, and maybe what we'll do is we'll schedule maybe a special outreach, virtual outreach. We'll get that presentation again for all of us, and I think I'll probably invite the new mayors that weren't probably present for that, and then we'll kind of take that opportunity. But just again to recognize, that your division has been quite at work with 8,000 animals in the SNP clinic, and then 14,300 animals collected. I mean, those are big numbers, and so good job on our continued progression there. Any questions for Dr. Turner on this subject? If not, we thank you, Dr. Turner, and I'm going to return to our order. Thanks, Christine, for your patience. Let's go to capital improvement project updates, and I think we'll get Stephanie Flores from the clearinghouse. Steph?
Yes, thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Capital improvement projects, the one that we have that's most pressing is our Mangilaw gym. We had some safety issues with the way that the gym was, what happened with how the gym was done. So we needed to finish a retaining wall. That's just about completed, and we should be doing a ribbon cutting hopefully within the next month on that facility. There's some punch list items that are going in place before we move to the next phase of the project there at the Mangilaw compound. I don't know if you're ready to talk about the next phase of that, or we can hold that for another meeting. But there's going to be some exciting updates to the adjacent baseball field.
Well, I think that field, right? That is an ongoing project.
Yes.
And I know that we've amended that project, or I made sure that we also had additional resources to support the field lighting and the construction of a restroom down there. So I think those are all in line as part of the investment in Mangilaw into the recreational facilities.
Correct. And the other gyms that are coming online, we should be seeing. We're in the final stages of approval with our grantor, the National Park Service, to do the 5 additional gyms with the skate park or other adjacent improvements in those areas.
Right, those are Inalahan, MTM, PD, Asan Maina, and
Kumate.
and Humatec. Those are
Yeah.
the
And those
five
will
next ones.
have mini skate parks adjacent to them as well. And as a further phase to some of those that we have discussed would be if the village does not have an accessible playground, we're talking about doing those either in the same footprint or close by. So those are
Yeah,
further.
Steph, there was I guess some communities are looking at they want multiple lines, right? So I know that they're asking if there could be the lines for pickleball or volleyball in addition to basketball.
Yes.
Those will be considered, I guess.
Yes, so these are all supposed to be multi-use courts. And so we're working to make sure that the scopes as we go forward are extremely clear, that they will not be just basketball courts. They will have the lines for volleyball and they will also have lines for pickleball. Or that if there is an existing outdoor court close by that is not being renovated for an open air gym, that we would update some of those courts, resurface smaller projects, resurfacing with the addition of lines for not just tennis, but pickleball. There are a couple outdoor courts that we're looking at right now that would be suitable for that. And those are smaller projects, not really high ticket items that we're looking at those to do those as well. So that's it for the capital improvement projects for those recreational facilities. We have others in line that are undergoing FEMA improvements from Typhoon Mawar, and I'll let DPR talk about those when it comes to their report. The next item for us is the adopted bus stops. So we continue to get bus stop adoptions. We'd like to announce that we will be revamping that program to include a unified numbering system. There is an existing numbering system that DPW has, bus operations has. They are all individually numbered by village, so that there is a very good tracking system. But there are some improvements that we'd like to do to bring us into the next phase of technology so that people can start. We're exploring the use of QR codes and things like that to help us identify bus stops for projects further down the road so that we could know when bus stops need attention, if there are repairs that need to be done. These are things that we're looking at and incorporating technology in that process so that we can better improve the service for the students that need to use those bus stops. And lastly, we're talking about Chamorro Village Rehabilitation. Those are we have 2 pots of funding for that. So we're doing 2 phases of renovations there, one for the FestPac huts and one for the traditional Chamorro Village side area, the existing Chamorro Village side. So there's 2 different things. DPW and Department of Chamorro Affairs are reviewing the scopes to update the pricing so that we stay within budget, and we have a little bit of contingency built in to handle increased costs or unforeseen issues that may arise. The NEPA process has already been well underway, and should be starting procurement pretty quickly.
Right. The result is that there's supposed to be, well, in terms of the first phase, a certain number of those are going to become enclosed structures so that we can expand brick and mortar that's available for small businesses. But that is also going to enable businesses that are in the current footprint to temporarily migrate if necessary, while we upgrade the infrastructure, the electrical and the water and wastewater infrastructure and the facility for the remaining for the current structure. So I would say that in the big picture, this is a really good project that's going to improve and modernize the Chamorro Village, including the construction of additional facilities that are going to kind of help enable more growth on the small business side. And so maybe what we'll do is after the scope is done, and as we proceed with process, we'll give a public update. And I imagine, the president will have a meeting with current tenants to kind of talk about that. This will be I certainly start this year and working through next year.
Yes, that's definitely correct. There will also be, as part of the requirements for the funding, there will be community spaces that will help facilitate community outreach for things like vaccinations, health health concerns, greater health concerns, access to care for our unsheltered population, as well as job opportunities, a location, a central location where people can come, use a computer and apply for jobs. So those are some of the things that we're looking at to improve in that facility as well.
Okay, great. Any questions for Stephanie? If not, we're going to move down to Vince Ariola at Public Works. Derelict buildings, we got road, all sorts of stuff Public Works does. So Vince.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant Governor. In addition to Stephanie's report, I'd also like to add a very important groundbreaking is going to take place next week on Friday. This is for the refurbishment and renovation of the Agadya pool. That's a long time in coming. Steph was very instrumental in assisting with the funding, along with Bureau of Statistics and Plan. So we had the assessment done, we had the designs for renovation done. And we issued a bid for a contractor. We have the contractor on board, and we're all set to proceed. So that's going to be a huge project, not just for the village of Agana, but certainly for the island. That pool has been waiting for quite a while to get renovated, and so we're really going to be pleased with the outcome. We've seen the architects and the designers' conceptual drawings for the final pool of how it's going to look, along with bleachers and showers, of course, and storage areas. It's going to be something that's really going to make us proud, especially for the Island Beautification Task Force for one of our projects. So that's going to be on Friday, I believe. So Friday next week at 2 p.m. So we're real pleased to announce that. With regard to the derelict buildings, the 2 meetings ago, I mentioned that we were concentrating our efforts in Barrigada and in Agate. And I'm real pleased to report on especially on the Agate side. The mayor was working with our staff, and he wanted to address it first by talking individually to his residents before we issue the notice of violation. So he was able to bring down the list of identified properties from 31 down to 20. So he down to 20 that he still needs to talk to try to get their properties in shape before we start issuing notice of violation. So that's a good gesture on the mayor's part. And then on the Barrigada side, the way if I read this correctly, out of 15, 6 have already been identified as compliant. In other words, taking care of the building, cleaning it up, shuttering it up. But there still remains 9 buildings that we're working with the mayor to see it. And if there's no progress there, then of course we'll issue the notice of violation. But real pleased to see it that the mayors on their behalf have stepped up to talk to the residents and try to get it done before we issue our notice of violation. One of the things, Lieutenant Governor, that I really wanted to mention was our efforts with the abandoned vehicles. As everyone knows, there's a public law that became implemented, 37-60, and that gave the responsibility for the handling of abandoned vehicles to Public Works. And just in the short time that responsibility has been given to us, we've collected well over 150 abandoned vehicles. The problem is they're sitting in our compound in the back there. Some of them have been crushed through the use of Guam solid waste crusher. But as you know, we're still working on a staging site, if you will, to place the abandoned vehicles. But in line with that, as we're collecting the vehicles, because there's a huge cost to this, it takes a minimum of 4 employees, 4 individuals, collect the vehicles. One is the tractor trailer driver, one is the skylift operator, and at least 2 spotters. So at a very minimum, there's 4 of them. So in moving forward with this project, we can't just keep collecting cars out there. We've got to bring down we've got to go to the base and the reason why these abandoned vehicles are out there. So we're looking at working on increasing the types of penalties that are out there to include fines, community service, and perhaps hard labor, because individuals need to know this is a very costly issue that's out there, and it's not good for the island. It's not good for public works, and it's not good for everybody. So we're like I said, in coordination with collecting them, we're working on the administrative side to see what we can do to push out harsher penalties to decrease the number of abandoned vehicles that are out there, and perhaps looking at cameras in certain roadways where the number of abandoned vehicles is at a high, and perhaps maybe even some form of bounty system, because this issue of just taking a vehicle and abandoning it on the roadside, this just has to stop, and we need to change people's attitudes about that. In addition to the abandoned vehicles, we're also making a concerted effort to clean up a number of ponding basins that are throughout the island. Some residents may have seen our presence in cleaning out abandoned ponding basins. One of them we just is going to be down in Tamuning, right along San Vitores Road. It's right across St. Anthony Church. That's a very large ponding basin. We'll start cleaning that probably next week. Well, we just completed the fencing on that for safety's sake. We wanted to finish the fencing first before we went in and cleaned it, so that there's no accidents. So the residents of Guam should see Public Works out there cleaning ponding basins, getting ready for the rainy season. But not just that, but just cleaning them, because it's been a long time coming for a number of the ponding basins. That's pretty much all I have in terms of issues for the task force, sir.
Thank you, Vince. Any questions for Public Works? If not, we'll move on to Guam EPA. Sabrina, do you have anything to add?
Sorry about that. Thank you for the opportunity to report on behalf of Guam EPA. As Dr. Turner said, she was just informed this morning. I was just informed an hour ago also. I'm very glad to hear Director Ariola reporting that DPW has so far collected 150 abandoned vehicles with the Mayor's Council project, but it is still status quo. They haven't provided any POs. I understand that they're going to do through an RFP process. However, I'm happy to report the final numbers for FY 24. As for abandoned vehicles, we've collected 883 vehicles, 1,287 white goods, 2,542 tires, 1,332 pieces of electronics, 886 cubic yards of green waste, and 229 cubic yards of mixed metals. And that cost the government $1,301,869. As far as illegal dumping, Guam EPA continues on a daily basis to address illegal dumping complaints. And I do know we track the data of how many complaints and how many we've investigated. I wish I had more time so I could have provided you that data, but maybe on the next meeting we can provide you what how many complaints have been entertained and closed out for the year so far. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sabrina. All right, moving on to Parks and Recreation, to Angel Sablan.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, colleagues. As far as DPR, I just want to report some of the completions. Angel Santos Park has the renovation there has been completed. That was funded through GVB. The San Antonio Bridge, which was adopted by Community First, had a facelift in having all the benches and even a big nice sign put up there by Community First. However, we do have, and I know it's not Vince's fault. This all prepared. I think and we talked about this, Governor, last week. Is we need to get those purchase orders registered. They're all below 100,000, and it has to do with the FEMA projects at East Hagatnya, Ipan Beach, Chinese Park, and we need to get them going. I had asked, and he did expedite it, but like I said, we're still waiting for registration. Maybe Vince has an update on it, but and then we have other parks that we turned into DPW that we're also waiting purchase orders for, and this is the Inalahan Pool, Gato Cave, the Cedra Bay, and Seti Bay, and also the Vietnam Memorial overlooking up there in Humatak. Those are the projects we have that's already just awaiting purchase orders. For the Paseo Stadium, I understand that we're going to go ahead and issue the contract to the winning bidder, but just for the FEMA funded portion, which is still a major part of the renovation of Paseo Stadium, and the remaining $500,000. I guess we're going to still work with Stephanie to try to find the money for that. We're working with Roman de la Cruz, who has already contacted you about trying to put a sling on Kapua, and he wants to do that in July when the visiting group from Northern Moranos will be here, and we'll make a ceremony for that. The other projects that we're waiting for from FEMA for their obligation is West Tagatnya, the Guam Seal, and Fort Apugan. For the others that we're communicating and coordinating with, we're still working with Herman Etta for the beach volleyball. I think we've settled on Paseo as the site for the beach volleyball. We just want to make sure that wherever they're going to put it will not interfere with whatever is going on down here in Paseo. Just the latest of yesterday, we were in communication with him. The other beach volleyball group, Gov, that we have no contact with or whatsoever is, and we already see a flyer that they've put out, that they're having a beach volleyball tournament at Dunka Beach, I believe on July 17th. We're concerned because the mayor has taken pictures of some backhoe moving sand in that area, but every time we go there, the backhoe is no longer there. And they have not come in for any permitting. I don't believe they've gone to Public Works or to EPA or anywhere, but our concern is that they're touching the sand, which is, nobody can do that without permits. So we're going to try. We've got contact numbers of the individuals. We need them to come in, but I believe they're working with GVB. So we're trying to reach out to GVB to see, who authorized all of this work that's being done over at Dunka Beach. We're very happy because we have quite a few organizations like the Lions, even the military, even the Guam National Guard that have been reaching out to us to do some volunteer cleanups along the beaches and in our parks. Just this morning, we had the National Guard walk from Paseo all the way down to Alupan condominiums, picking up trash and whatever debris alongside on the beaches. So we're happy that people are coming out and offering their help and assistance in keeping our parks clean. We're still looking for an adoptee for, of course, the Kepuha Park. We have, I think, 3 different organizations, and we're working with Chris on this to see who wants to adopt it. We're also working with Chris and Veterans Affairs for that river that divides Padre Palomo and the cemetery there, just to see who's going to take up responsibility of doing that. We met with Veterans Affairs last week along with Chris. So these are some of the things that we're working on. But like I said, the most important part is we really need to get those purchase orders out, because I know that Mr. Fenton from FEMA was here, is probably still on the island, but he's also concerned of us moving all these projects forward. And I don't know how it's never been done this way before, Gov. Like I told you, all our projects, 100,000 and below, have never been required to get a bid bond. And these contractors, I don't think they have the means to go and get the bid bond for these small projects, because they're just small contractors. So this is something that we have to certainly work out and get these projects moving. Thank you.
Thank you, Angel. I know that's an issue that is being addressed right now, and trying to make sure we eliminate delays, and also don't eliminate the number of contractors that are bona fide that will be able to respond to the work. So thank you. We'll move now to Christine Farron from Agriculture. Christine.
Morning, everyone. Today. Okay, so I heard a couple things pop up that our team's already on. As far as the tree plantings, I'll start there because it's tree plantings on the agenda. Tree planting for June 28th is actually one of our last stipend payout opportunities. So this past year, the Bureau of Statistics and Plans had funding through NIFWIF to provide stipend money to encourage and get support for the tree plantings, but also like maintenance on the sites. So thank you to that. And so the grant ends this month. So come on out for June 28th. Bring your, you got to be a US citizen. Bring your, show your ID that you're 18 and above, and you'll be able to avail of the stipend. But otherwise, stipend or not, come on out. It's a beautiful site, and you'll get to participate in the planting. So that'll be June 28th from 9 to 12 in Malesu. It's our Ascada reforestation site. You won't miss it because we'll have signs up. Now with that, we have also upcoming in July, the interns in your office are working on their flyer, but we sent out a flyer to get them started. That the tentative dates, it could be both dates or a single date. We were just trying to offer more opportunity to accommodate, because I don't recall how many interns we have this summer, but July 15 and 16 will be the days dedicated for the all youth intern opportunities to come out and participate in a tree planting. So with that, I guess we'll wait for that information when they send out their official flyer. You'll see in the chat, or actually I don't know if you can all see the chat, but I threw in two photos of our summer interns with the staff inspecting the tree at the Hagatnya Pool site. And so a request came through, and I couldn't find the original request, but a request came through for tree pruning for this tree because it's over the bus stop or the transit stop. So we're just going to need bucket truck access, the access to a bucket truck. So Director Ariola, if we can tap into your resources, we can get this tree addressed before your tree, before the groundbreaking on the 27th. So we just got this request, I think, yesterday, and got the team out there today. So that's one, that's another. And then the first thing I threw into the chat, I apologize for the length of it, but I really wanted to recognize these team members who flew out from Hawaii and joined your Department of Agriculture, Forestry, and Soil Resources Division fire crew. So they came out through Fish and Wildlife Service and National Park Service, and these individuals joined your fire crew. They flew in on a Tuesday, they were in our fire trucks on a Wednesday, and they were fighting fire with us, and they were in fire every day, multiple fires, till the first week of July, when we expected they would be here longer. The second team showed up and they were here 3 days and they flew back out because the rain set in. And this is an opportunity that we're going to be formalizing a bit more and anticipating 3 years of this potential support. The ask came forward. It was like, what do you need? And I said, well, I need people. I need people to help us do daily patrols and stay on patrol. And I need assets. We need vehicles to turn into wildland fire trucks. And so there's a potential here where if these partners marry with us for the next few years, it'll help build our local capacity and still satisfy the need that they have to make sure that there's coverage in the parks. And we've been fighting fire across these parks, national parks properties for decades, but they were going unmapped and they were unaware that Guam was responding to these fires. So I'm putting that out there, that there's a service here and an opportunity to support us. And we took advantage of that this year. And it was very, very fast. An email came in and a yes went out, and within less than a week, these guys were on the ground. So that's how quickly it can move. And that's about all I have, except I did have a question. Austin's gone now, but we have fire hoses, a lot of old damaged fire hoses. So we've been storing them thinking there's got to be a project we can use these for. So there's an opportunity here for us to turn in all of our
You better talk to Austin and see what they come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good.
I think that's about all I have. Did you have any questions?
Actually, I was gonna ask you and Vince, of course, we're about a month out, a little bit more than a month out. The parade is coming up, so I imagine both Public Works and Agriculture, Parks and Rec, everybody will be paying attention to the parade route, making sure that branches are cured so there's no hazards for the folks. And of course, parade grounds are gonna be clean. I know that Angel's side will be distributing or managing the process for parade spots. This is our kind of so I imagine we're whatever the public has been experiencing, they would expect to see also coming up for Liberation, right?
Yes, sir. Done.
It's on our radar. Yes.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay, before we close, Stephanie, would you like to introduce your interns, and maybe we can hear their names, their ages, their villages, their schools?
Yeah, so we have 5 interns here. We're gonna go ahead and ask you to introduce yourself. Start with Colin. Yeah, come over.
Hi, my name is Colin Meno. I'm from Barragata. I go to Season High, and I'm a senior.
My name is Justin Sanchez. I'm from United. I go to Singapore.
What grade are you?
I'm a junior, turning a junior.
My name is Alexander Tysno. I go to FT currently, and I'm going to be an up-and-coming senior.
Hi, I'm Aubrey Garrettson. I go to Notre Dame, and I'm turning a sophomore. Hi, I'm Abigail Birch. I'm from Barragata. I go to Tiza, and I'm going to be a senior.
Those are our interns.
Excellent. So just, of course, for the public, I know that we have interns throughout the government. It's a great program that allows this allows an opportunity for young people to get some experience in the world of work, kind of understand what's going on in various aspects of the government, but also I know it does give our employees an opportunity to get a refresh in their buildings and programs and offices. I always have good feedback also from the employees who are pleased that they get some additional help, but also, of course, have an opportunity to mentor students throughout Guam. So we welcome the interns and hope they have a very good program and look forward to the community activities that are coming up as a result of their participation. All right, are there any other matters? If not, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you.